Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for today, this one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video. We're going to be going over your guys' Q&A comments and questions as per usual, of course, now that we're during the off season of the Walking Dead universe. I do want to still keep that Walking Dead Q&A grind going, of course, so I figured we'd do another one. Also, side note, because I feel like I'm going to forget it, so I'm going to mention it now. Happy Canada Day to all my fellow Canadians out there. I hope you guys have a really great one. Also, for my fellow Americans, over the next couple days for 4th of July, in advance, happy 4th of July as well too, because I don't know if I'll remember it in a few days, you know what I'm saying? So I figured I'd mention it now. We usually get all carried away with all the content, and then I never, think to do it. So happy Canada Day though to all my Canadians. Y'all know I'm Canadian, so I figured I would kind of acknowledge that as well. And I actually know there's a lot of Canadian viewers on the channel too. I actually did notice that. I looked at the percentage and I was actually kind of surprised. So yeah, very cool. But anyway, wanted to get into this one here because we've got about 2 months until Daryl Dixon releases. So we've got probably, a good, 5, 6 or so Walking Dead Q&As in between that time. We are officially in Comic-Con month now as well too. So pretty soon we'll probably do a video kind of giving our thoughts on what we can expect for San Diego Comic-Con. Not even just for Walking Dead, really, just with all the, shows that I watch. What could I expect at San Diego Comic-Con this year? So, yeah, let's get into this. So, starting things off with Iron, who says that, Dan, if you're drained after Dead City Season 2, what is going to happen when you watch Daryl Dixon Season 3? Also, Dan, what would make, in your opinion, a successful Daryl Dixon Season 3? Well, honestly, quite simple, Iron, which, yes, I do, I do definitely acknowledge that. If I'm drained after Dead City Season 2, what the hell is going to happen when I watch Daryl Dixon Season 3? Well, here's the difference with that, though. Is Daryl Dixon, I'm going to be honest, after Season 2, I've kind of learned to just kind of not expect much, you know what I'm saying? I've kind of learned to have low expectations when it comes to that show. When it comes to Dead City, I kind of thought going into Season 2, admittedly, because of how good Season 1 was, that, okay, this show is different than the other spinoffs. It's going to be an incredible story that really just, remakes everything and really just makes everything great, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, Dead City kind of proved to me this year that Dead City is no different than the other spinoffs. Dead City is very odd when it comes to certain decisions that it makes. And it's just a dumb spinoff, like the other ones are as well, too. The only spinoff I can say out of these new era spinoffs that actually had a point to it is The Ones Who Live, right? That show right there. Because that show was bringing Rick back to conclude his character, and I think that, at least fulfilled somewhat of a purpose. It fulfilled more of a purpose than these other two spinoffs are fulfilling, that's for darn sure. But what would make a, successful Daryl Dixon Season 3? Honestly, I'm not asking for much. I'm really not. I'm just asking for a fun season in Spain. Don't make me get invested in characters that you're going to kill right away. You know what I'm saying? Maybe actually let some of these Spain characters actually continue on. That would be, a bonus, I would say. That would consider kind of a successful Daryl Season 3. And that's about it. I'm not asking for much, you know what I'm saying? I'm very easy to please when it comes to these spinoffs because I finally have realized what these are. And they are not exactly anything that special. They are just simply continuations of a previously, concluded series. That's what these shows are, and obviously if you look at those differently, then you're going to be disappointed, you know what I'm saying? I say that to a lot of Walking Dead, viewers. The original Walking Dead ended. If we ever get a continuation or a crossover of The Walking Dead one day, then you can get your hopes up. In terms of these splintered shows, you can't really expect all that much, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of just expect to enjoy your favorite characters, and that's kind of it, unfortunately. It's not really about a massive continuation that has all this game-changing stuff like The Walking Dead used to have, which is unfortunate because you could argue, okay, well then what's the point of the spinoffs? Exactly, but, we're here, we've got the shows going on, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Dead City Season 2 drained me, but it was because I expected better. I thought better of Dead City. Now I know what that show really is, and now I know what Daryl Dixon really is after last fall. So, when it comes to Daryl Season 3, I'm honestly going into it with just minimal expectations, close to none if I'm being fully honest with you, and just kind of seeing what I come out with, you know what I'm saying? It looks fun, it looks like a fun season, the budget is definitely high, which that's one thing I've kind of noticed, is that the budget for Daryl Dixon in comparison to Dead City is way higher, so that's a plus as well too, you know what I'm saying? But that's kind of all I have for it at the moment, you know what I mean? I can't really go any higher when it comes to my expectations, because like you said, I would be disappointed, you know what I'm saying? So That's kind of where I'm at, My hype and my interest and my excitement is gravitated towards other TV shows these days, like From, Dexter, The Boys, you know what I'm saying? Those type of shows. I'm gonna let myself get excited for those, because those are shows that are actually, coming out with actual, purpose and, real big seasons. You know what I'm saying? The Walking Dead is kind of in this purgatory state where it's like, okay, it's still airing on TV, but it's like, it's not exactly what it was, you know what I'm saying? And that's fine, honestly. It just give me entertaining seasons and I will walk away happy enough. You know what I mean? I guess on a positive note, I have to be grateful because I'm still getting my favorite characters, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's not the biggest outcome in the world, I'm still getting my favorite characters, and I still get to enjoy them on a yearly basis. So it's better than nothing, I suppose. But, that's kind of why I set my expectations low, you know what I'm saying? Is it The Walking Dead that I wish was going on? Is it The Walking Dead that I would choose to write? No, I would choose to do something a lot bigger and important than this. But it's the direction the writers have decided to go, so we're going to have to accept it, unfortunately. The next one comes from Two Projects, who says that, Dan, honestly, my God, Gimple is ruining this franchise. Honestly, I have no idea why I expect anything anymore, but they're very disappointed. So that was after the Morgan video that I did yesterday, if you guys didn't see that one. We had a bit of an update on Morgan's character in the franchise after 2 years of his disappearance. I had a lot of comments from y'all really angry that, they're doing this to Morgan's character, and it is unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Because Morgan is one of the greats, man. He's one of the greatest characters. And unfortunately, it sounds like Lenny James is not really finding out any kind of information on any idea of when his character's supposed to come back, which is very unfortunate. I gotta tell you, it's really, really unfortunate. But it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? We gotta expect it at this point. For some reason, this franchise is allergic to Rick, allergic to Morgan, which is kind of funny to me because those are the two OGs that started The Walking Dead. So they're not really writing what matters, in my opinion. But again, it is what it is. I mean, y'all know me. Rick and Morgan are my two favorites on The Walking Dead. They've always been my two favorites. So it's kind of, unfortunate to see this kind of happen to their characters, you know what I mean? At least Rick was concluded to a certain extent. Morgan is definitely not. They left his character up in the air. So, yeah, it's sad, man. It really is. Because it's like, people are wondering, like, you wonder why people aren't walking away, you know what I'm saying? Like Gimple, like, a lot of people, are just kind of saying, like, oh, well, let's just walk away from Walking Dead. If they're not going to give us what you want, let's just walk away from it. And then I always have to kind of counteract that argument because I'm like, well, I mean, I kind of have to, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to see my favorite characters, if they do reunite, I want to see that moment happen, I want to be there for that, you know what I mean? Whereas stuff like Squid Game that recently cliffhangered their show, which I was not pleased about, at least I can kind of walk away with Squid Game, though, because they concluded the main story, you know what I'm saying? With The Walking Dead, that is definitely not the case. The characters are up in the air, and until they're concluded, I'm not going anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And even if, The Walking Dead started this channel, so I would never leave The Walking Dead. But trust me when I say, don't think I haven't noticed the other end of the stick here. I have seen a lot of reactors. One that I watch in particular, I'll shout him out real quick. The underdog, Mr. Williams. I remember he reacted to the Dead City finale recently, and I remember he even said, he was like, I don't know what we're doing, Like, I don't know what we're doing, Like, I guess we're just watching our favorite characters and endless spinoffs. I guess that's what we're doing, There's not really, like, a drive anymore, you know what I'm saying? And that's, yeah, it's unfortunate, right? Because it would be nice to get, like, actual outcome, you know what I'm saying? A big purpose, you know what I'm saying? But we don't have that, unfortunately. That's why you gotta set your expectations low for these spinoffs, guys, because I'm telling you, Dead City Season 2 is going to be the last time I ever get excited for a Walking Dead spinoff. Daryl and onward, I'm not getting excited. I will just get moderately interested if it looks good. You know what I'm saying? Because I've learned that these shows are not serving a greater purpose. That's the thing that everybody has got to drill into their heads, is that it is not proving anything. It's not serving a purpose. It is strictly here for entertainment, and that is literally all there is to it. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, there is no purpose in the Walking Dead shows anymore. It's just strictly entertainment. You know what I'm saying? With our favorite characters, which is, a bonus. That is a W. You know what I'm saying? But it's sad that it's come to that end. And I hear y'all, man. I hear y'all. A lot of people saying, oh, it's sad it's gone to that point. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man. It's really insane. Next one comes from Jason, who says that, Dan, honestly, I know the Rick and Daryl reunion is the one that everybody wants to see the most, but I would argue Rick and Morgan's reunion is more important to the overall story because they started The Walking Dead And if it doesn't come full circle, honestly, I don't understand what Gimple is doing. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Rick and Morgan's reunion is something that you need to do. You know what's funny? I wouldn't have actually pushed for it if Morgan just ended on his own terms on Fear the Walking Dead with his daughter. I'd have been like, okay, that's where you end his character, you know what I mean? But when you go out of your way to set something up, well, now you're, now you screwed yourself, you know what I'm saying? Now you have to do it, you know what I mean? Because you can't just set up his reunion with Rick and then not pay off with that, you know what I'm saying? So for all the people that are saying like, oh, well, Dan, you got to realize this character's concluded, you got to let it go. Well, like I said, I would have gladly walked away with Morgan's character if he was concluded. But he wasn't concluded. He almost was, and then they set that up. So now, you got to bring him back at one point or another. So it's honestly really insane to see that Morgan's been gone for 2 years, and we haven't had any kind of an update on his character besides a few words of Lenny James being stuck in the dark about the whole thing. You know what I mean? That's the most of an update we've seen from Morgan in the last 2 years. It's insane. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to see the franchise reach that point where we're demanding things. The spinoffs aren't going in any kind of massive direction, or at least it doesn't seem like it is. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have minimal expectations. It's sad, man, because I remember The Walking Dead used to be something that I used to run at the TV and watch it, you know what I mean? And every single second, a scene would go off and it would cut to commercial, you'd get up and pace around your living room, you know what I'm saying? Y'all remember those days? I don't do that anymore. I'm just like, all right, this is entertaining, fun little spinoffs, you know what I mean? Like, it's sad, man. It really is. It honestly saddens me just talking about it that way. It really does, but what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? We got other shows for that. We got Dexter, we got From, we got The Boys, we got great shows. But, unfortunately, Walking Dead is kind of it's kind of just a fun side entertainment show at this point, which is kind of, that's crazy, man. That really is insane to me. The next one comes from Calm, who says that, Dan, honestly, sinking this low to putting Morgan's character on a Tales of the Walking Dead episode like they are rumored to be doing is honestly a really, really cheap move. Yeah, that's like the only thing that I've seen is that they said that they might do that. That's one of the things they did say in the article, which... Listen, like, if you give me, for one thing, if you give me Tales of the Walking Dead Season 2, which I'm starting to get the idea that we're probably going to get it, it wouldn't even shock me if in a few weeks at Comic-Con, Gimple's like, oh, Season 2, But if they do it, you know what I'm saying? If they do it, listen, I'll watch it, okay? But the only reason I'm watching it is because I'm hoping for better results than Season 1. If I don't get better results, I'll never watch that show again. And I'm going to be honest with that. People say like, oh, you're a Walking Dead completist. No, when it comes out, you're going to watch it. Yes, the main characters. Anything to do with new characters that I have no interest in, and I see that the writing's bad the last 2 seasons before, oh, trust me, I will give it up. I almost quit, if y'all don't remember, back in 2019, I almost quit Fear the Walking Dead. The only reason I came back is because I heard how great 601 was. So I flicked it on and I was like, oh damn, this is good, you know what I mean? So then I stuck with it. And then I almost gave up on Fear after the end of Season 7. I almost did, once again. But then they brought Madison back, and then they confirmed Season 8 was the last season, and then I was like, okay, well, it's the end of the show, I'm just gonna stick it through, you know what I'm saying? But trust me, if Fear would have kept going down that way, I think I would have for real left, honestly. I think I would have. So, Tales, don't push me. I'm watching Season 2. If it sucks and if there's nothing to it, I'm not watching it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not continuing it. But if you give me a Morgan episode, anything Morgan related, I'll be there for. The one thing I'm concerned about with that is that it's obviously, if they give us a Morgan episode in Tales, it would be what? A 1-episode thing and then Morgan would be concluded again? I mean, I guess as long as you give us a reunion with Rick, I guess I could maybe shut my mouth about it. But again, why is it in Tales of the Walking Dead? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you just give us a little mini-series where you show us, have that reunion, you know what I mean? It's just kind of strange to kind of see something like that. But again, I'll take what I can get. But I'll say this. I would much rather a Rick and Morgan reunion on a crossover series where everybody comes together and you give us a really big reunion with all of our characters. Like, Carol and Morgan had a great bond in Season 8 and Season 7, you know what I mean? And even Season 6, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to see them two back on screen again, you know what I mean? That's another, I almost said relationship. That's another, maybe, yeah, I don't know. But that's another reunion that I would like to see. You know what I'm saying? Them two had a big arc as well, too. So there's a lot of characters I want to see Morgan interact with. You know what I'm saying? So if you just give me a cheap Tales episode, you're going to have to put, like, money and money and money into it with a bunch of cast members to give us a satisfying reunion. Whereas you could just give us a mini series with Andrew Lincoln, Lenny James, and et cetera, and then it's like, oh, there you go. And then there's your like makeshift season 12. You know what I'm saying? That's to me what they should do. But again, for some reason, they're not pulling the plug. I heard a comment from somebody recently that said they should bring Angela back and have her do it. I'm like, facts, honestly, facts. I think Angela would give us the reunions we want. I firmly believe that. I think Angela Kang would do it. Genuinely, I really do. I think she has enough passion for Rick, Morgan, and those characters to give us a reunion. I really do. We need to get Gimple out of that stupid chief content officer position. That's what we need to do. We need to get him out of that so that we can actually fix up, you know, the loose ends that are not being tied up and probably never will be. You know what I'm saying? The next one and the final one comes from Dave, who says that, Dan, honestly, I got to admit, I noticed that you have been really disappointed with Dead City lately. Would you consider how hyped you were for Dead City, considering back a few months ago you were really excited for it? Would you consider season 2 a disappointing season in the end? Yes, I would. Because I was really digging it at first. I was really enjoying the first few episodes, and then it kind of just fell apart for me. And it, you know, it wasn't horrible, but it got really flawed after a while. And I was really excited for Dead City season 2 because I thought it was going to be the quality of season 1. You know what I'm saying? So now I know. Now I know what to look out for. You know what I'm saying? Now I kind of know what to expect for Dead City, which is just another, you know, mediocre spinoff. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, I would not like to think that way. I would like to enjoy it. So it is kind of unfortunate that, you know, season 2 kind of crapped the bed there in the back half because, you know, I really did enjoy the first half of season 2. I was really digging it. You know what I'm saying? And then it kind of fizzled out. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate, man. What do you do? You know what I'm saying? What do you do? But anyway, that is the current scoop on the Walking Dead universe. We'll do another Q&A next week. Post your comments down below, of course. Kind of let me know where your state is with the Walking Dead right now. Kind of how y'all feeling, you know, about it. You know, how do you feel about the handling of certain things? And how do you feel like it's all kind of going? So post your comments down below. Let me know what y'all think. And of course, guys, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, sure, click subscribe. It should miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected, every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.